Good evening, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Spiritual Paranormal Podcast. The podcast where we explore strange and unexplained and the stories that blur the lines between myth and reality. I'm Erin, your guide, and today we are diving into one of the most chilling legends of the American Southwest, the mystery of the Skinwalkers. Are these supernatural beings real, or are they simply a result of fear, folklore, and unknown? Let's find out. Growing up near a Native American reservation in a little old Idaho, we had the chance to have those tribal kids to come into our classrooms and actually hear about these things. They told us to be careful of when we heard of coyotes or when certain things were scratching at the window when there's nothing there. But let's deep dive a little bit more. This legend of the Skinwalkers come from Navajo folklore. According to the tradition, Skinwalkers, known as Nolodeshe in Navajo, and I know I blew that, are individuals who have gained dark supernatural abilities, including power to transform into animals. Unlike traditional shapeshifters in other mythologies, skinwalkers are often seen as malevolent figures, witches who have chosen to use their power for evil. Many Navajo people believe that skinwalkers can move incredibly fast, mimic voices to lure their victims, and even influence the thoughts of those around them. Because of their spirituality significance, the topic is not often spoken about openly in the Navajo communities. In fact, even mentioning them is believed by some to invite their presence. Modern sightings and the Skinwalker Ranch phenomenon. Despite being a part of the Navajo tradition, Skinwalker sightings has spread beyond the tribal lands. Over years, people have reported encounter with strange humanoid creatures, figures moving unnaturally fast, or eerie voices calling out in the middle of the night. Some describe seeing beings with glowing eyes, standing on two legs, but running like an animal. Others tell of unsettling encounters where some things pretending to be a friend or a family member, only to reveal its unnatural nature at the last moment. One of these most famous locations tied to Skinwalker lore is the Skinwalker Ranch located in Utah. This remote property has been a site of bizarre paranormal activity for the last decades. UFO sightings, mystery lights, cattle mutilations, and even reports of strange creatures. Some researchers believe that the ranch sits on a hotspot of supernatural energy, while skeptics will argue that the stories have been centralized over time. So, are skinwalkers just a product of folklore or fear? Or is there something more to this legend? In recent years, skinwalker stories have blown up over the whole online horror community, blending the mix of folklore and urban legends. Platforms like Reddit, YouTube, TikTok are filled with terrifying first-hand accounts. Stories of hikers hearing their own voices called from the woods, drivers spotting humanoid figures running alongside their cars, campers experiencing eerie presence outside their tents. These tales often mix with supernatural, like Wendigo, or cryptids such as the Rake. But while the internet has made skinwalkers a popular horror icon for many Indigenous people, these stories aren't just entertainment. they're a real part of culture, and they warn against treating them lightly. So my experience with Skinwalker was actually this last summer. I went camping with my company, and we had a really nice place up at Pickle Gulch, which is up near Black Hawk, a natural reserve. And I hadn't been camping in over, I want to say 8, 9 years. I used to go camping all the time. When I was single and a little younger, I was a little bit more braver. But I went up and I had my tent, and my tent was a little bit away from everybody else's, and kind of in an open area. Everyone else's were in the trees and stuff because they got there a little bit before I could. And I remember waking up at 1 o'clock at night, dead silence, and knowing that everybody in my camp was like passed out drunk, or they were sleeping and getting ready for the hike the next day. 1 o'clock, I had a hand, and you could just tell it was a hand coming across my tent, and you could see it. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I sat straight up and I looked out and didn't see anything, but I couldn't see behind where the hand was. And I was like, okay, everything's okay. Everything, you just like, okay, don't invite it in, don't do anything. Basically just sit there. And then the hand just kept on going. And I was like, okay, take a deep breath. Finally it stopped. But in the meantime, that whole night, there was one coyote that just kept on yipping, and it went around the camp yard, yipping. Next morning, we were heading out to go to a little convenience store to pick up some stuff for breakfast, and we saw that coyote on the side of the road. A leg had been torn off, and it did not look like a coyote. It kind of looked like a mixture that it was, and we were all like, oh my gosh, that's what we heard all night. So I definitely had that experience. I've also had, while I'm alone at my place, I've had scratching on the window. I've heard my name outside. So, skinwalkers are definitely something that I know exist. Does it scare me? Yes. But also there's always that fear of the unknown too. But I also know that everything is going to be okay. So those are kind of my stories with the skinwalker and paranormal kind of stuff. I know someone had mentioned that. But so what do you think? Are skinwalkers just another urban legend and twisted by internet? Or could it be something real, lurking in the shadows? The Navajos believe that speaking too much about them invites their attention. If that's true, maybe I've said too much. So thank you for joining me tonight on Spiritual Paranormal Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe and leave a like and a review down below. If you have your own eerie encounters and would like to share, send them our way. You never know what's out there just beyond the veil.